How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Sorry, I'm
Good,
a
great.
bit late today.
No problem at all. Great to see you. We're going to get started. So you will need a bolster or some kind of thing like that, like a rolled up blanket or a cushion, and a block or cookbook, whatever you have to hand. And we're actually going to get started in a seated position today. So if you want to grab your block or something to sit yourself onto, just going to pin myself here. And then just arrange yourself so that you feel both sitting bones even onto whatever you've sat onto. You might need to gently just rock back and forth or side to side, just to kind of get a sense of where your sitting bones are, right? The sort of bony bit at the base of your pelvis. And then, if you could imagine like the pelvis is sort of like a bowl, in fact, it kind of is. And you don't want so imagine it's kind of holding a little bit of milk, and you don't want it to tip the milk out the front, and you don't want it to tip the milk out the back. So somewhere where you can hold all the kind of organs there into that kind of more neutral space. And that will naturally bring that lower back curvature in, soften the ribs inwards, and relax the shoulders. It might be that you close the eyes here. The eyes might stay gently open, gaze forward and down. And just starting to bring yourself into felt sensation of the breath as it gently moves in and out of the body. Just check in with both body and mind, seeing how you are this evening. What is the energetic quality in your body like? Right? Is there maybe a little bit of nervous energy or excited energy, or maybe just kind of slower energy? Just kind of feeling into the quality, or what the sort of what that energetic quality is for you in your body. And in sort of what I've been sort of working on with this month is this idea of showing up for yourself, right? And every time we come to the practice, when you come to your mat, right, this little space that you have set up for yourself, and this little time that you've set aside for yourself to show up and to really be and sort of luxuriate in that quality of truly being present with yourself, right? So many places where we just kind of go through the motions. And in showing up for ourselves, we get to really examine the places maybe where we're not showing up for ourselves quite as much as we should be. So see if during this practice, you can really tune into what your body needs from you, what your mind needs from you, maybe a little bit of space or quiet to let new, fresh kind of inspiration or ideas just come into the fold, right? So as you breathe in, feeling that as a sort of freshness or enlivenedness that you get from the breath. And as you breathe out, just letting go of any ways, any resistance that you might be having towards showing up for yourself in certain areas of your life. Okay, and then just start a little bit of movement. So really whatever feels kind of interesting here. So you might sort of explore a little bit of rolling from one sitting bone to the other, like little circular movements that begin from the pelvis and then kind of work upwards. Let there be a sort of softness to the rest of the body. So the head just kind of follows through with this base movement. The shoulders following along. It should be circular, or maybe it could be back and forth, a sort of rounding of the spine and drawing it forward and through. Just to kind of release any of that sort of tension you might be carrying through the spine, especially after sitting for a little while today, perhaps. Good. And if you're sort of moving in one direction, you might just start to take it in the other direction. And as you move, see if you can just tune into what you feel and where you feel it, right? So maybe this sort of dynamic of lift from the pelvis upwards, just feeling the musculature of your back body as it sort of shifts from side to side or circles. And also just tuning into the quality of your breath as you move here as well. Good. Nice. Okay. And then keep the movement going, but sort of lean back, so much so that you can just kind of reach your legs out in front. So it's almost like you become a little, almost like a boat, a half boat pose. And you could come off if you're onto something, you might come off of it now. And then just kind of allow the legs to sort of swim here. So almost like you're floating onto your sitting bones and just kind of moving around a little bit. And there's no right or wrong, right? So you could make the legs go out a little bit and in. Just feel them move into the hip socket. And then maybe the arms get involved. So this kind of like movement through the arms. And you'll start to notice a little bit of work happening in the core here, right? So it could be that at the beginning it feels like kind of soft and easy, but then you'll start to feel that center of the body work a little bit harder to be here. Good. And then just place the feet down onto the ground. Take both hands to the outside edge of your right body, and then just take a little twist, sort of with bent knees. Just turning around as though you're kind of looking over that back shoulder. Inhale, come back through to center, and just twist over to the other side. We're going to take that a couple of times, so just kind of lifting and lowering. You might find you get a little bit more space or freedom every time you come to the opposite side. Yeah, just making it really fluid. And it might be that you sort of float the feet off the ground. So that may get a little bit more work into this kind of side of the body muscle, this kind of oblique muscle, lifting and lowering. But the feet might be still on the ground if that feels just better. See if you can keep a little bit of lift through the spine. Just lifting and lowering. Yeah, good. Nice. Okay, and then come back through center. And then see if you can lift the legs a little bit higher. Maybe the legs stretch out, maybe you rotate into your ankle joints and your wrists. Yeah, good. You can still see me. Is it very dark? There we go, it's a little bit more light. Good, okay, and then fold the feet. So you're just kind of crossing the feet over and then tuck them in so you can roll over. And we're gonna come all the way up into it. Downward facing dog shape. So walk the feet out a little bit, and then get a little bit longer in your downward facing dog than you kind of maybe naturally are inclined to do, just to feel into it. So making like a long downward dog shape. Just see how that feels. Yeah, and then find some way to be here that allows you to just feel a little bit more ease in the body, right? So there's no kind of instruction, only that you're longer and you're allowing your body to move in a way that feels quite nice. And then start to step your feet in so that both of your big toes are kind of pointing towards one another and the heels are slightly out. And then lift your right leg away from the ground, reach through the heel. You might reach the left heel closer to the ground as you lift up and open up through your right hip by bending the knee. Try to avoid sort of tipping into your left shoulder. Keep both arms strong as you open up through your right hip. And then as you exhale, bring your right foot forward and through. Step to the inside of both feet. And then shift the weight forward so that back leg starts to lift just about halfway. Press down through your right leg. Make sure your left leg doesn't open. Keep the hips level. So it's almost like a half of a warrior. Reach back through your left leg. Exhale, bring your left knee forward and through. Press down into your right foot. You're going to come all the way up into a little bounce. I know, already. Okay, fingertips to touch. Hold here, relax the shoulders. Good, and then shift the weight forward so you can send that foot all the way back. Lightly land it to the earth. Square the hips. So remember that tip of the pelvis. Instead of tipping it forward, see if you can bring it into center. So this might get you a little bit of stretch to the front of your left thigh. Inhale, take the arms up. Reach to the fingertips. Deep lunge. Exhale, bring the hands down. Bring the front foot and step back into your downward facing dog. Find a little bit of movement if that feels good. And then bring the big toes a little bit closer together, maybe like an inch between them, and heels are a little bit wider. Inhale, lift the left leg up, press down through your right heel. So you open out to that left hip. Good, that looks really nice. Try to avoid tipping weight into that opposite shoulder, so both shoulders are level. And then step the foot forward and through, in between the hands. Yeah, good. Shift the weight forward, so that back leg is just going to float away from the ground. Your fingertips might be touching. Get a little bit of energy through the back leg before you lift it up and through. Yeah, reach back. Good. And then bring it through, coming into the balance. Nice. And you just hold in here in this balance. Feel length up through the spine, reaching to the crown of the head. And then again, shift. So you tip forward. Feel it as a movement from the pelvis. So you reach back with that back leg and then lightly land it to the ground. Beautiful. Inhale, lift the arms up. Again, notice what your pelvis is doing, so it's not tipping forward. Just for this one, we're exploring keeping the pelvis neutral. And just see what that does. You might even have to take a little bend into your right knee to feel that. Just feel the even sense of the pelvis reaching up through the fingertips. Good. Exhale, take the hands to the ground. Step back into your downward facing dog. Take an in-breath, come forward and through into a plank position. Drop the knees, shift the weight forward. Feel as though you're kind of pulling the ground towards you with the hands. Lower the fronts of the thighs. That's already a back bend. Pelvis to the earth. Belly to the earth. Chest, forehead. Take an in-breath, lift up, get strong through the legs. Feel as though they're pulling up and in towards your bum muscles. Shoulders away from the ears. There could be a little bend in your elbows. And then exhale, press into the ground, lift back to your knees. Tuck the toes under. Send the hips high, back into your down dog. Find a little bit more length through your spine. You might find that you've shortened your dog. See if you can bring it longer, just for this class. Just see how that feels in the body. So stepping back a little bit further than you naturally want to. See if you can bring your ears more in line with your arms. So Francis, if you lift your head just a tiny bit, yeah, good, good, good. So if your either ear could touch outer or inner arm. Wow, that was a bit of a tongue twister. Okay, take your right leg into the air. Lifting and lengthening. Good, and then step it forward and through in between the hands. Okay, back leg is going to lift up. This time we're going to take a little bit of a standing split. Okay, so the leg is going to lift a little bit higher. It doesn't have to go super high, just a little bit higher than hip distance. And then you might be able to wrap your right hand around your left ankle, or sorry, right ankle. And maybe even bring your left hand to the outside of that right ankle. See if you can bring your chest a little closer to your thigh. your forehead a little closer to your shin, just as an option. We're getting this nice stretch through that standing leg. Feel the relationship between that leg and the other leg, so the stretch of the inner thigh. Good. And then bring your left foot so that it lands behind your right foot. So you're in this little cross-legged forward fold. Take a little in-breath, slide the hands up the fronts of the shins, reach forward through the crown of the head. And then exhale, fold forward, chest closer to thighs, forehead closer to shins. See if you can shift the weight slightly forward into your toes, crown of the head to the ground. Good. Bend the knee slightly so you can release the left foot away. Bend the knee. We're going to do something a little tricky here. So bring your left foot forward and see if you can shoot it forward and then come all the way down. Did I lose you? Yeah, reach it forward. You got it, you got it, you got it. Forward, yeah. And all the way down. Use your hands. Good. Nice. Bring it back so you end up in this sort of like a tippy toe squat position. Yeah, nice. And then take the hands onto the ground and straighten up through the legs. So you're a wide-legged forward fold. That was really nice. Okay. Take a little in-breath, slide the hands up the shins, reach forward through the crown of the head. Exhale, hands to the earth. Separate, take a little hop back into your downward facing dog. And then take an in-breath, lift the left leg into the air. Step it forward and through, in between the hands. So we're going through that same little sequence again. Shift the weight into your left foot. Right leg rises. We're going for the standing split. So remember that back leg doesn't need to be super high. We're trying to find the balance. So maybe the left hand reaches around the ankle. Maybe the right hand. And check out what your foot is doing, right? And start to do a little kind of wiggle wobble thing just to navigate its way and working here on its own. Okay. And then as you exhale, just step the right foot behind, so your little cross-legged forward fold. Again, take an in-breath, slide halfway up, reach through the crown of the head. Exhale, fold, all the way forward and through. The weight shifts forward, the pelvis is now tipping forward, so you're spilling out all the milk from the pelvis, forehead to the earth. Take a little in-breath, lift up. We're going to go for that little transition. So don't worry about it, don't overthink it too much. Bring your right leg, bend into your left knee, so you can bring that foot forward and through, straighten out, use your hands if you need to come all the way down and balance on your left foot. Good, and bring the foot back in, so you end up in this little tippy toe squat. Use the edges of your outer arms to press the inner thighs open, and you can still be on your tippy toes. Yeah, lift through the crown of the head. Good. And then gently lower the heels to the ground, press the hands into the earth, straighten up through the legs, toes pointing forward now. Heel toe your feet in a little bit closer. Lift the 10 toes away from the ground, spread them wide, and plug them back down into the earth. Take a little bend into your knees, press the hips slightly forward, reach the arms forward, sink back, Utkatasana. Soften the ribs inwards. Squeeze the outer hip muscles, and now the pelvis is in that more neutral position, so the tailbone lowering down, reaching forward through the arms, maybe looking towards the hands. Good, stay for one more breath. And then exhale, gently press into the feet, come all the way back up through to standing. Reach through the arms, maybe look towards the hands. Exhale the palms in front of the chest. Take a little in-breath, lift up. Exhale, fold. Chest to thighs, forehead towards shins. Little halfway lift. Hands to the earth, step or take a hop back. And again, you're going for that long downward dog, so you may need to adjust. Remember, we have this sort of patterning in the body. So just for this one, see what it feels like to get a little bit longer. See what happens in your pelvis. And you find a little bit more freedom there to imagine the sitting bones reaching up and back and the heels back and down. Breathing into the belly. Inhale, come forward into your plank position. You're going to do one chaturanga, or you can drop to the knees. Hold the ground towards you, feel the legs firing up. So it's really strength through the lower body as you lower through. Inhale to lift. And exhale, press all the way back. Downward facing dog. Beautiful. Take that right leg into the air once again. Step forward and through. In between the hands. This time, back heel will drop to the earth. Take an in-breath. Lift the arms all the way up. Reach up through your right hand a little bit more. Take your left hand back behind you. Turn the shoulder in, reach around behind. So I'll turn around so you can see. We're coming into cow face arms. So you may be able to catch fingertips or t-shirt. Holding up. Feel the legs fire up as you're here. Good. See if you can avoid sort of sticking the ribs out. Keep them softening inwards. Get a little stretch into the tricep. Through the arms. Beautiful. If it feels okay, you might exhale, come forward, halfway down. Feel as though you're reaching to the crown of the head. Staying strong through the legs. The back leg is still working. And then take an in-breath. As you come up, release the arms. So the right arm goes up, the left arm slides down the back leg. So you end up in this reverse warrior shape. Inhale, come back through to center, both hands to the earth. Shift the weight forward into that right foot. Left foot lifts. Maybe come straight into that, what's it called? Half splits, standing splits. Yeah, back leg as high as you need it to be. Beautiful. And then stepping, left foot forward and down to meet your right. Reach forward through the arms, sit back. Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, fold forward, chest to thighs, forehead towards shins. Lift and lengthen through the sitting bones. Little breath in, look up, step back. Into your long downward dog, so just as you need. Take the left leg, lifting high, exhale, step forward and through. Back heel comes to the ground, reach forward through that right arm. As you come all the way up, lifting up, right arm reaches back, left arm reaches up. Little internal rotation through that right shoulder. So you can reach around behind, catch hold of fingers, t-shirt, wherever you're at, be strong through the legs. I'm just gonna turn so I can keep watching me. Yep. Good. Beautiful. See if you can get that front knee to point a little bit more forward. Kate, good job. Reaching, and then maybe coming forward halfway down. So think about length through the torso though. As you reach forward, you pretty much stay where you are. That's perfect. Beautiful. Press down through that front foot as you lift all the way up. And then you're releasing the hands. So the right hand slides down as the left arm lifts up and over into your reverse warrior. Beautiful. And you're thinking more about lifting than collapsing back. So it's more important to get this sense of space through the front hip. And then inhale, come back through, hands come all the way to the earth. Shifting weight forward into that front foot. So you slide the back leg in and lift up. You might take the balance, so the hands might wrap around the ankle. Or hands to the earth. Beautiful. See if you can find more energy through that back leg as though it's reaching, it's stretching back behind. Good. And then this time, bring that foot in, release the hands down, sink the hips back, reach forward so it's a super low chair pose. Sending the sitting bones back behind you, and then maybe dropping a little bit down so the bum is like almost coming towards your heels. Maybe you're so close to the floor that you can just sit. Good. Okay, take the soles of the feet together. So maybe that you need to sit up to a block or some kind of prop. I'm going to come a little bit closer so you can see what's going on. A little bit better. Okay. So we're in our butterfly pose. It's nice to have that little bit of lift through the hips. Soles of the feet together. So it could be that your feet are opening out wide. You might have the soles of the feet together. That might feel more just sort of better for you. The knees might be dropping out a little bit deeper. And then the pelvis, if you're on that little block or a cushion, you might feel that tipping of the pelvis forward. And that's going to help you as you start to come forward and down. Releasing into a forward fold. But we're going to turn, so we're going to just get a different rotation through the shoulders. So if you turn the palms to face up, you might feel this through the shoulders a little bit here. And breathe deep into the belly. If you feel like you need extra support for the head, you might grab that cushion or bolster. See if you can maintain the arms, sort of palms facing up, almost like surrendering down and forward. We're working shoulders and the hips. Allow yourself to once again come into a deep sense of being in connection with your breath, so feeling the whole body move with your breath. As though you're not just breathing into the lungs, but you're breathing into every cell in the body. Being aware of the way that the mind will fluctuate from attention to distraction. Whenever you notice that shift, just gently inviting your awareness back into this present moment, showing up for yourself time and time again through presence of breath. Halfway through, just notice if there might be any little bit more space, maybe through relaxing the head, the shoulders, maybe through deepening the breath. Gently, slowly turn the palms to face down first. Just get a sense of the ground beneath your hands, just tuning into whatever texture your mat is or the floor where you've placed them. And then slow lift back up through to seated. So if you're on that block, You might gently come off of it. And if you feel like you need to, you can gather the knees together with your hands. Yeah, good. And then we're just going to take the hands back behind and just allow the knees to gently rock from side to side, and releasing, feeling into the sensation there. Working those inner thigh muscles. It might be even that it feels quite nice to just pause to one side, taking that little extra stretch. If you do so, just making sure you take a little pause to the opposite side. And then coming back through to center. We're going to make our way over onto hands and knees, and this time you will need your maybe cushions, or if you have two blocks, this could work, or your bolster. So we're going to do a sort of child's pose. You may like to sit onto a block here, just to support the pelvis if you feel like you need to, or you may even use the block in front for your head. So it feels best that sitting onto the block might give a little bit more sort of space to be here for longer for the knees. Or you could even, if you like, you could place like a rolled up blanket behind the knees just for a little softness, or under the knees. And then we'll extend the arms forward and allow the forehead to soften towards the ground. If that feels like not enough, you can either put your bolster up onto the higher edge, so you have a little bit more drop, or you could flip your blocks, if you have two of them, again, onto their higher edge. And see if you can sort of let the wrist sort of be relaxed, so wherever you are. So we'll soften the head here quite a bit. So you're taking that muscle, those muscles at the back of the neck, just into a little bit of tractioning through the weight of the head. Just notice your shoulders. This can be one of those places where you might be unconsciously holding on. So see if you can take a deep breath. And a really long exhale. To fully soften, release, and let go here. Slowly, just begin to slide your hands off whatever you're on. So you can just take a moment just to rest down. You might even take the arms by your sides. You release the shoulders completely. Take a few more deep breaths into the belly. Then take the hands by your sides. You can gently lift yourself up to seated. So you could stay on your shins, that might feel okay. Otherwise, you could maybe sit onto a block, and here again, you might even sit onto a block while you're on your shins. That might take a little bit of the pressure off, just because we'll be here for a little while. And turn around so I can show you what we're going to do. So you're going to take your, let's say, right hand, reach around, catch hold of your left kind of upper arm, so just above the joint. And then allow that sort of left arm to become really heavy as you sort of traction it downwards. And then allow your right ear to draw towards your right shoulder. And then up to you, see where it feels best, right? So you'll be targeting different muscles depending on how you position the head. So the ear might be dropping directly towards the shoulder. That might feel like the best place for you to be today. Or the chin might be dropping more towards the shoulder. That's just going to get into more of the muscle behind, at the back of the neck, rather than to the side. So just see what's needed. Where you find that little bit of juicy stretching that you can be with. Notice your breath. Keep it soft, flowing relatively freely. Taking deeper than normal in-breaths and out-breaths whenever you find you encounter a little bit of tension. It just needs a little gentle encouragement to release. Or even just pulling back a little bit. If you found that you've met your edge. You've gone beyond it. Your next exhale, just allow your chin to gently roll down towards the center of your chest. Release the arms. Allow them to just rest by your side for a moment. Maybe the chin just gently tucking in towards the chest. Then a gentle in-breath just to lift the head back up through to center. And we'll do the other side. So this time, the left arm reaching back behind. You can catch above or below the joint. I quite like to get it above the elbow joint. I feel like my elbow joint doesn't really like being pulled too much, but see what feels good for you. You might enjoy that. And then there's this sort of drawing down of the arm through the weight of your hand that's catching the arm. So that the shoulder, and this muscle across the top of the shoulder, the trapezius, gets a little stretch as well. And then the left ear dropping towards the left shoulder. Or chin dropping towards the side. See where you need a little bit of extra attention. Another one of those deeper than normal in-breaths and out-breaths. See if you can soften just a little bit more. And gently allow your chin to roll down towards your chest. Once again, releasing the arms. And slow in-breath to lift the head back up through to center. Good. Okay, so we'll come off our block, and it might be that you need to just give your legs a little bit of a shake out. They feel like moving like that with a little bit of a yin stretch as well. Good. So we're going to come into one of my favoritely named yin poses, so rolling panda. So again, this is going to be working into our shoulders. So we begin in that sort of tabletop position, and I'll just show you just as a reminder. I know we've done this before, but we'll take the right arm, slide it through to the left side. Allow your head to rest on the ground. Might be that you need to move your right shoulder down a little bit to create space. Your left hand can slide forward. You might be on your fingertips or the palm, and then you can stay there. You can take the arm into the air, wrap it around behind. You can also extend your left leg out to the side. So you're this is when it becomes sort of a rolling panda. And then you could maybe try with the arm here as well. So it's a little bit of a balance and quite a bit of a stretch into the outer shoulder. So your options, to maybe wrap the arm around, to extend the leg out. Nice. Yes, there's the rolling panda part. So if you extend the leg out first, sometimes that's easier, and then wrap the arm. Yeah, brilliant. Find the stability in there. Beautiful. So you might sort of find that there is a little bit of yang quality to this. There is a muscular requirement to keep you upright. But see if you can really melt into that more yin energy. So notice where the body is supporting you and allow that to happen. Allow it to happen in a soft way. So how can you support yourself in a gentler way? So we're going to start to gently unravel from this one. So maybe the arm gently comes back to the earth first. And we're going to take a rebound after this one. So slide your right arm back in. And it might just feel quite natural just to come all the way down to the belly here. And you can rest the head onto your forearms, or maybe just onto the earth. Just allow the body to completely surrender into the supported ground here. No effort, no movement. Okay, and then when you're ready, we'll make our way back onto hands and knees. Okay, left arm slides through. So again, just take your time. You know, it might be slightly different on this side if you feel like. Stretch your right arm forward. Extend your right foot out. Your right arm goes up, wrapping around in front of the hip. So again, try to find kind of softness. So there's almost like a perfect balance or distribution of weight. Through the side of the head, the knee, the foot, so that no one thing is pulling all of your attention. You can tune into the whole of the body. Slowly, just releasing that top arm first so you can support the body. And then the second arm. And then just see if you might want to lie into the belly or the back. Releasing the shoulders. And feeling into kind of after sensation of being in that pose. Slowly start to come back up. I'm going to take one more pose. It's an inversion, and then we're going to move into Shavasana. So if you like, have your block and your brick nearby. You're going to come into your legs up the wall toes. If you have a wall nearby and you want to use that, you can. Otherwise, you could use either the bolster or your block to support under the hips. And I just find that gives you sort of a little bit of something to balance the hips on, so that it feels a little bit more light through the legs. So you have to be in a position where your hips are not tipping forward or back, so they feel perfectly placed, so that you can be here for a little while. And the benefit of choosing maybe a cushion or a bolster is that when we come to Shavasana, you might just slide the bolster under the knees. So we'll be here for 2 minutes. See if you can feel the weight shift back into the shoulders a little bit. Press the hands either by the body, by the side of the body, or onto the body. And then just be really soft through the toes, through the legs. You might even find a little bit of softness through the knees. So the joints just feel kind of spacious. Trying to find yourself just being here with as little effort as possible. If you feel ready, you could also stay for a little extra time if you like in that pose. Otherwise, gently bringing the feet down to the earth. Lift the hips so you can either slide your block out from underneath or slide your bolster forward so that it's supporting under the knees. If you need to grab some extra items for warmth, jumpers, pillows, blankets, whatever you need so that you can just be really so comfortable in yourself and in the placement of yourself. Scan the body just to make sure you're not holding. Just to make sure that you can completely luxuriate in this moment of restfulness. Just show up as you are. You don't have to be prepared for each challenge or know all the hows of every situation. You don't have to be fearless or have all the answers or be 100% ready. Nobody is any of these things. Nobody ever was. It's not about being perfect at all. You just have to show up as you are, despite all the objections and insecurities of your mind, despite each and every fear that threatens to hold you back, despite the limitations and criticisms others will place on you. To hell with them all. This is your life, your journey, your adventure, and all it's asking of you is to show up as you are. That's enough. That's more than enough. That's everything. Start to bring a little bit of movement back into the body. Me deepening the breath. Just doing whatever feels good. You might stay. Or you might come up to seated.